Well, we're finally into mid-August, and I'll tell you what, it's definitely the dog days of summer. Today what I'm doing is I'm going after some crappies. Just like all other fish species, these fish migrate. In the spring, they're obviously in the shallow spawn and are pretty easy to catch. But then as summer progresses, these fish move out and they start suspending off these deep weed points and any type of cribs and structures, or quite frankly, just out in the middle of nowhere. And so the best thing what I like to do is I like to use my locator, and I'll just drive along the deep weed edges and I'll look for those extended points dropping off. Today I'm fishing a relatively clear lake, so these weed lines go out into about 14 feet of water. And so I'll stay out there and I'll look for the deep weed line, but then I'll look for a point that extends out a little bit, and that's what I'll target. Now, a lot of times what you can do is you can throw any type of little spinner baits, beetle spins, things like that. Today I'm just throwing a little jig and a spinner blade is what I've got on. I'm going with a 32nd ounce. The key to this is to have an ultralight rod, because I'll tell you what, the bite is so subtle, it's not like they're going to slam these baits. What I typically do is I've just got, today I'm going to be fishing these deep weeds, so I've got 6-pound test on, but I've got an ultralight rod, 6-foot ultralight rod, and just a small ultralight reel. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cast out and let it drop. I'll count it down until I can bump the tops of those weeds down in 14 feet of water, and then I'll just start reeling and then just kind of pop my rod tip periodically and let it drop. A lot of times these fish will hit on the drop, so let's see if we can get a fish. Now what I've done is I've cast it out. I'm just going to count this down a little bit. Okay, 1001, 1002, 1003. With this 32nd ounce jig, I go to about 7 seconds. Now I'm going to start popping it. Okay, I felt the weed tip there. I'll just kind of pop it, bring it along, just drop it down again. And what's going to happen is going to be such a subtle bite. It's a lot of times it's just like you feel weight is what it is. And then I'll work this bait back to the boat. Just kind of let it drop down again. We had some pretty intense storms last night. A lot of thunder, a lot of lightning. And so I'm thinking that even pushed these fish a little deeper. Again, I'll just cast out, and then I'm just going to kind of count my bait down, get it down there, and once it's to the tips of those weeds, just kind of pop it along. And just, a lot of times that triggers these fish. There, I feel the weeds right there. Nice little rotation, and then just boom, give it a little pop right off the weed. There's one. Oh, I just lost him. It's such a subtle, subtle bite. There he is. I'll tell you what, they'll just come up and they'll just grab it. It's a real subtle bite, like I say. But I'll tell you what, sure is a, there you go, come on. Not the biggest crappie, but I'll tell you what, these are real good eaters. And when you find one, they're a schooling fish. So a lot of times you're going to, you get one, you're going to get another one pretty quick. All right, let's get this guy in the bucket. Go after another one. Okay, now I felt the big weed clump over there, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to target that weed clump now. I'm going to go to the right of that. Okay, every time you cast, just kind of get a feel for what it, as that drop, as the bait drops down, get a feel for what the conditions are down below. You can visually think about it. There's one. Yep. I know that weed line's right there. Whoa, here we go. Another one for the bucket. Nice little crappie. And see how he grabbed that? He just went right in. Just grabbed that bait right from the back there. These are cool little baits. They've got a little blade on the bottom, a twister tail kind of on the top, and then the jig head itself. And this bait will drop like this, but that blade will keep spinning is what it'll do. And it doesn't take a lot for this blade to spin. It doesn't take a lot of motion, whereas like a beetle spin, you know, you have to get it started and then a real slow roll like that. Well, this here, This blade really spins pretty easy. Okay, now I knew that that big clump of weeds was off to the left there, so I'm going to go to the right of that a little bit and count it down. Just pop it back. Just trigger a bite. It's just a super easy way to get a meal of crappies. There he is. Nicer crappie. Oh, this could be something else. Oh, maybe some pike moved in or something. Or it could be a bass. Let's see what it is. Oh, it's a big crappie. Holy cow. It's a nice crappie. I think we're going to have to get the net on this one. It's a big crappie.
You want to come up, so you just keep your rod tip down. See one come up? Oh yeah. Woohoo! Come on, buddy, don't do that to me.
I'll tell you what. It's just a great way. Look how that crappie grabbed that little spinner, just right at the head there. It's just a great way to go out and get a meal of crappies. Small spinner bait. I'll tell you what, that's a nice crappie. That's a good looking crappie right there. Let's go out and see if we can get some more.